we go. Perfect. So the option of having your camera on or off, whatever suits your preference. You're all muted. Perfect. I was really looking forward this evening to coming back out to the space and just having some time with all of you. I love the idea of carving out this time, but I have to admit, so often I'm not disciplined enough in my own practice to do so. So I do appreciate our time together and all of you showing up this evening. So in whatever space it is that you've created for yourself there, just taking your way into your opening Shavasana. So lengthening out through your bottom half of your body, as well as your upper body. And if it's available this evening, perhaps considering taking up more space than you feel you ought to. So really allow the legs to fall wide. Invite the arms a generous distance away from your body. And just notice the most outer edges of your body here as you find this form. So the tops of your toes, the tips of your fingers, the top of your head. Perhaps allowing your gaze to soften to the ceiling above you, or allowing your eyes to completely close. Allowing your jaw to soften, the space between your brows to release, and noticing the weight in the back of your head. Beginning to feel everything drawing you down into your yoga mat, into the ground beneath you. So really here looking to release any muscular effort. Allow the energy of gravity to draw you down as you begin to release everything that's not going to serve you for your yoga practice this evening. So park that off to the side, let it go for the next hour. And allow awareness to simply settle onto your yoga mat. And as we draw our bodies here into a point of physical stillness, just beginning to observe what begins to arise. Maybe your mind begins to race. Maybe you notice some tight or achy areas within your body. Maybe it just feels good to come into a point of stillness. For some of us, perhaps the first time all day. So just staying present with whatever it is that begins to arise. There's no right or wrong here. And then use that next exhale to release that observation and begin to notice the back side of your body. Start down at the heels. Work your way up the back of your legs. Notice your sitting bones. The space in your low spine where it releases away from your mat. And the space in your mid-back where it once again connects. The back of your neck. The back of your head. And then after you've observed those points in your body, can you imagine energy drawing even heavier into those spaces? As if the weight of your body is literally being pulled down. growing roots into the floor beneath you, but all the way down through the foundation, through the soil, through the earth. Everything is drawing heavy. And then releasing that awareness and shifting it to the front of your body. Start with the tops of your toes. Draw up through the shins, the knees, hip bones, midsection, all the way up to the collarbone, the jaw, the eyes, the forehead. And begin to cycle awareness through the back side of your body to the front side of your body. It might feel nice at this point to pair that awareness with the breath. So perhaps inhaling awareness all the way up the front of the body. Exhaling all the way down the back of the body. And taking the entire breath, drawing up from the toes to the forehead. The entire breath to release the back of the body, back of the head, down to the heels. You're just moving here through this cycle of awareness for another round of your breath. And then the next time awareness comes to your midsection, pause there. Just noticing the lower belly space, noticing the bottom of the rib cage, and noticing the collarbone space. As you inhale, begin to build through those spaces. Find that Dirga breath. Notice the rise at the front of the body, and as you exhale, notice the weight through the shoulders, softness through the midsection, and release through the lower belly. And at this point, just allowing that awareness to cycle through the midsection. So the inhale, finding that fullness, front side of the body. The exhale, spilling it over the shoulders, down the spine, stopping at the tailbone area, and wrapping immediately into that inhale. So instead of offering that full body scan here, keeping it isolated to that midsection paired with our breath. Using our breath this evening to anchor awareness to our physical bodies, but equally to try and keep it onto our yoga mat. So parking everything else to the side. We'll stay here in stillness and physical body for another few rounds, few cycles of breath. Awareness traveling up the front of the body, to the back of the body, and back and forth. Using that next exhale, releasing now all the way down to the heels. At the bottom of your feet, to the pinky toes on both sides, left and right. Beginning to offer tiny movements, starting with the outside of your feet and working inwards until you reach the big toe space. And beginning to allow this movement in the feet to come fairly organically. So allow the feet to rock, allow the ankles to roll, point and flex the feet. Try to find that movement equally in both left and right side. The next time your inhale arrives, draw the toes up and press with some energy out through both heels. Feel the heels lift away from the mat
And then exhale, release any effort into the lower half of your body. Allow the toes to fall wide. Allow your hips to open. And travel awareness to the pinky edge of both hands. And then from there, beginning to take this movement inwards towards the thumb space. One finger at a time, there's no rush. And then once you arrive at the thumb space, both left and right, beginning to find organic movement, spreading the fingers, rolling the wrist, forming a fist, bending the elbows. Feel the back of the arms press into the ground, shoulders soft. Using your next inhale, lengthen the fingers. Reach the hands to either side of the room, palms face up towards the ceiling, and open up through the chest. Can you lift the mid and low spine away from the mat? Find more length here out of your left and right hand. And then exhale, soften the upper body back down to the mat and allow the soles of your feet, one at a time, to come and touch the mat about hip distance or so apart. Keep the upper body anchored right where you are. Press the nail bed into the mat, or into the floor rather. And take a big inhale, so big that the low to mid spine begins to lift away from the mat. As you exhale, draw the navel in towards the spine and press the lower spine towards the mat, perhaps even making full connection. Inhale, arch through the low back, find lift out of the belly as if it's drawing up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, engaging through the lower belly, pressing low spine towards your mat. So playing here with the rhythm of your breath, finding these pelvic tilts, a little bit of a warm up for the low back space. Big generous arch through the low spine, and then a little bit of core engagement as we draw that awareness in. So moving here through one more round of your breath. And then when your exhale comes next, when the low spine presses in towards the ground, pausing there, find a full inhale with spine connected to your mat. And then exhale, invite the knees over towards the right. Allow them to rest wherever they fall. And then slowly allow your gaze to fall over towards the mat. So taking your full spinal twist here, adjusting the distance between your feet to find comfort. Perhaps widening the stance or allowing the stance to come closer. You feel you have access through that left side body. Perhaps that top leg comes to rest on the bottom. And then maybe the right hand comes around to the outside of the thigh to help guide the knees closer to the ground. Focusing here on keeping that left shoulder blade rooted to the mat. Finding that extension out of the left fingertip. You notice just that simple shift in awareness, shoulder and the top of the fingers, how that finds more activity through the side body. If that becomes too much, you can always lift the knees a little bit away from the ground. Take what you need. So noticing left side body, starting with the armpit, working down the outer rib cage, arriving at the hip and through the outside of the left thigh. Pausing for one more big breath here. The next time you inhale, allow that right hand to open if it's come across. Inhaling, knees come back through center, both feet for a moment, just connect with the mat. Just the stance of your feet. And then exhale, allow your knees to release over towards the left. Again, the option of widening or closing the stance. Your gaze can look over the left hand. Right leg can come on top of the left. Left hand can come across onto the side. And then once you arrive into your twist, awareness heavily settling onto the back of your right shoulder. Can you drop it away from the earlobe? Find extension out through the right fingertips, as if you're reaching towards the edge of the room. Awareness drawing down the side body, outer rib cage, outer hip, outer thigh. Use your next exhale to sink even more weight into that right shoulder, weight into the top leg. And then if that left arm has come across, you can open it up nice and wide. Using the next inhale to draw your knees and your gaze back through center. Soles of the feet come to meet your mat. Then walk your heels close to the body, as close as you can comfortably get them. And then allow your hands to come down towards your heels. Palm face the floor here, as if your fingertips are trying to reach for the heels. And then once you're there, use your inhale to explore that pelvic tilt once again. The low spine releases away from the ground, belly lifts up towards the ceiling on an inhale. As you exhale, pressing low spine back into the mat. Inhale, find the arch through the low back, weight into the shoulders. And then exhale, pressing low spine into the mat, and once it comes there, pausing for a full breath. As we pause here with the low spine pressing into the mat, can you become aware of the core activity? Notice the belly button drawing in towards the low spine and the space just above the pubic bone engaging to draw up and support the low back. Let's try to maintain this connection through the low belly, or engagement rather, in connection with the back. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. Reach to the top of the mat, palms are facing up towards the ceiling. And then find a space where you can allow the back of the hands to come and rest on the mat above you. So your arms can be long, elbows can be bent. If that's too intense, take your arms to a T, maybe even a Y shape. Just find that space where low spine is connected and arms are working towards being overhead. Pause for a full breath once you get there. The entire spine now supported on the mat beneath you. And then as you inhale next, you're going to press through the heels. Begin to lift the hips up towards the ceiling, maybe just an inch or so away from the mat to start. And then exhale, one vertebrae at a time. Allow the spine to come and connect again. The inhale finds lift as the hips come up towards the ceiling, engage through the glutes, engage through the outer thighs. Your exhale finds that support as you gently release back down to the mat. So playing with a few lifts here into our baby bridges, maybe becoming a little bit deeper, a little bit more generous every time we explore. I'm taking one more round here. The inhale finds the lift. Your exhale finds that controlled release. The next time your spine is supported on the mat, let's inhale the arms overhead and turn your palms to face one another. Above the shoulders, as if your fingers are reaching up towards the ceiling. Exhale, press the shoulder blades heavily into the mat. Inhale, find lift out of the fingertips. Allow your shoulders to wrap forward. And then exhale, find the weight. So as if you're drawing the shoulders back into the socket. One last time. Finding that inhale, lift out of the fingers. And then exhale, weight into the shoulders. Allow the hands to come now down beside the body as you draw your knees in towards the upper part of your body. Inner thigh squeeze. Hands come around to support the legs, and then once you're there, just finding a gentle rock here. Side to side. Massage through that low to mid back space, softening the jaw or crunching through the back of the teeth. And then exhale, release the soles of the feet to come down to the mat, hip distance apart. Inhale, bring the right knee in towards the body, interlace your hands behind that right thigh, and then lengthen the leg up towards the ceiling. And allow the right thigh to fall super heavy into the socket. And then once you're there, beginning to find whatever movement might feel nice in through that right ankle joint. Pointing and flexing the foot, wiggling the toes out, taking circles in either direction through the ankle joint. Using your next inhale, let's lengthen out the leg by pressing out through the heel, draw the toes energetically up towards the shin. And then exhale, bend the knee, draw the knee in towards the right shoulder. Your hands are there for some support. Inhale, lengthen out. Press out through your heel. And then exhale, bend the knee in towards the right shoulder. Use the upper body to generously draw it in. One last time all together. With the inhale, find the extension out of the back of your leg. And on your exhale, draw the knee all the way in, as close as you can get it. And then from there, allow the right ankle to come and rest on the left side. And allow the right hip to open by drawing the knee towards the bottom of your mat. It might feel nice here to draw the right toes up to find some engagement to protect that right knee, but that's not a steadfast rule. So if it feels okay to have the foot relaxed, you can find that form. The option of staying here with this left foot rooted into the mat. If you prefer, you can draw the left knee in. Hands can either come behind that left thigh or can wrap around to the front of the shin. Whatever form you're finding in the lower body, just seeing if we can find that with the upper body anchored into the mat. The weight is still even between our left and right shoulder. Your chest is open, allowing the stretch in whatever form you found to be isolated into the right glute. Coming back to the breath if your mind has wandered away, staying present as best as you can onto your yoga mat. Releasing this left foot down to the mat on your next exhale if it's lifted away. And then from there, releasing that right foot to come and meet the mat. Feeling both feet equally here, both sides, left and right. And then inhaling, left knee draws in, hands come behind for support, lengthening the left leg now up towards the ceiling. Allow the left thigh to fall heavy. And then beginning to find some free movement through that left foot. Noticing as we move here, if the shoulders tend to round forward. And just adjusting the arms so you can find a point where the shoulders can melt down. The chest nice and open. Taking your next inhale, let's press out through the heel, find extension through the back of your left leg now. And the exhale, upper body helps draw the left knee in towards your left shoulder. Inhaling, pressing out through the heel, press your foot all the way up towards the heel. Exhale, draw the knee in, use the strength of your upper body to guide it there. And one last time. Using the inhale to find the extension. And then your exhale to draw the knee in. Crossing the ankle now onto the opposite thigh, and allowing the left knee to fall open. The hand placement might look different on this side versus the other side. Just take a moment to be present and observe what it is that you need on this side. The right foot can stay supported or rooted onto the mat. Left foot can be flexed, or if it feels okay in the knee joint, you can allow it to relax. Right leg can float away from the mat, hands on the back of the thigh or onto the shin. And again, just noting whatever form you find, the upper body is completely supported. Shoulders glued down, chest remains open. Noticing here Any sensation that begins to pop up. Physical, breath, whatever it is, just be present with it for a moment. And then exhale, coming back to awareness of breath. If that right foot is lifted away from your mat, begin to find that connection once again. And then from there, releasing that left foot down to the mat. Open the arms up wide, palms up towards your ceiling. And just allow the knees here to effortlessly float side to side. Don't worry about connecting it with breath or anything here. Just find that windshield wiper motion, left to right, releasing through the low back space and through the hip. And then in the next breath or so, prepare to roll onto your favorite side. Use that top hand to guide yourself up into your easy seat.
And once you sit there, finding that balance between your sitting bones, front to back and side to side. Allow the lower rib cage to drop as if it's reaching towards the hips. Find your extension out of the crown of your head. Just for a moment, allow your hands to rest onto your thighs and allow the palms to face up towards your ceiling. Allow your gaze to soften or perhaps fully close. And just notice that shift of awareness. Notice that shift of sensation and breath when we find our way into our seated position. Just take a moment to reconnect. You can allow your gaze to stay soft, flutter it gently open. And then inhale, let's float the arms overhead. Take the whole breath to get there. At the top of the breath, allow the fingers to gently touch. Exhale, whole breath to come down. Soften the elbows. Inhale, spread the fingers with energy and purpose this time. Find space between each finger. Pressing through the palms here, feel the back of the arms as you exhale, coming down through your midsection. And then inhaling at the top of the breath, interlacing the fingers. Turn the palms up towards your ceiling, soften the elbows, guide the pinkies towards the back side of your body. And as you do this, notice the lower rib cage once again. If it's popped forward, can you tuck it in as if, again, it's reaching towards the hip bone, the front of your hip bone. Keep the low back nice and long. Can you think of pressing the heart slightly forward while keeping that core engagement? And then the next time you exhale, begin to press the palms forward, gently tuck the chin, and take your wrist no lower than shoulder height. And then once you're there, let's pause for a round of breath. Typically, we'd find a bit of a flow, but just observe the sensation here. And wherever it is that you feel it, can you direct breath into that space? Soften the shoulders away from your earlobes. Draw the navel in towards the spine. And if it feels safe to do so, allow the shoulders to wrap forward. Press energetically even more so out through the palms of your hands. Kind of like a cat-like spine. And then from there, inhale, begin to lift the palms up towards the ceiling. Soften the elbows, guide the pinkies once again to the back side of your mat. Find the flow now. Begin to release forward. And then inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, round it forward. Inhale, sweep it up. Take one more big stretch here. Releasing forward and drawing it up. And when you come to the top of the breath next, arms are overhead, release the fingers, palms come together, and then exhale, come down through center. And once you come there, you can just give the wrist a bit of a roll, the fingers a bit of a wiggle. Not like mine where it's just kind of getting stuck there for a moment. I need some free motion. And then inhale, bring the arms overhead. Coming into your seated twist. So as you exhale, right hand comes behind, left arm comes across, palm away from your body, please. Allow the twist to come from the midsection. Work your way up to the crown of your head. Drawing your right shoulder in towards the spine. And then imagining space in that left shoulder as it draws away from your spine. Lift out of the crown of your head so that the chin is level with the ground beneath you. And then on the inhale, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, twisting to the opposite side. Left arm comes behind, shoulder draws in towards the spine. Right arm comes across, palm away from your body. Allow the gaze to eventually look over that back shoulder. Soften the space, the back of your teeth, and in through your jaw. Give it a little bit of a wiggle. And as you inhale, begin to unwind. Start at the top, work your way down. Invite the arms overhead. Turn your palms forward and exhale, take them in line with the shoulders. Just for a moment, can you reach the fingers forward as if the shoulder blades are releasing away from the spine? And then exhale, draw them back as if you're trying to connect the inner scapula towards the spine. Inhale, find that reach. Exhale, draw them back. We did the same movement on our backs with our palms facing towards one another. Inhale, find that extension. Exhale, draw that connection. One last time. Find that reach. And then find that contraction there. Keep the shoulders drawn in towards the spine. Turn the palms towards one another. And then from there, take the right arm across the body. Left arm can come to support. Find that generous stretch through your right shoulder. So checking in with the right shoulder. Can you drop it away from the earlobe? If it doesn't feel too intense in your body, you can tuck the chin gently towards the collarbone, or you can keep your chin neutral to the floor, whatever works. So move gently here. Think of space through the side of the neck. Shoulders are always drawing down away from your earlobes. And then from there, release this side. Give the shoulders a wiggle. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, turn the palms forward, come to shoulder height. From there, let's turn the palms to face one another. And then cross that left arm across the body. Right arm can come across for support. Drop the left shoulder. The option of keeping your chin level to the ground beneath. Providing a deeper stretch, or more of a stretch, I should say, by dropping the chin gently. Although we're dropping the chin, we're still lengthening out through the back of the neck. So find a little lift out of the crown of your head. And then on your next exhale, release the upper body, give the shoulders a bit of a wiggle. First back, and then forward. Find your neutral spine once again, sitting up nice and tall. Reach out of the crown of the head. And as you inhale, bring the arms overhead, coming into our cow face arms. Exhale, right hand faces the spine, comes to upper spine. Left hand is going to sweep across, palm faces away from the body, and then sneaks up the spine as if we're reaching the fingers towards one another. The right hand is facing in. Left arm is facing, or left palm rather, is facing away. So allow that bottom elbow, your left elbow, to soften. And then think of drawing the right elbow towards the back of your mat. As best as you can, keeping the chin level so that we're not folding forward. We're still keeping everything nice and open. Take note here of the lower rib cage once again. And we tuck it slightly towards the hip bones. So keeping again that length through the lower spine. It's kind of that same action that we found in our pelvic tilts when we were on our backs. One more full breath here. On your exhale, simply allow the arms to release however they need to. Roll out the wrists, give the shoulders a bit of a wiggle, however you need to find release. And then as you inhale, we'll bring the arms up again, opposite side. So this time your left hand is going to come down towards the upper back, palm faces the body. Right hand turns away, sweeps away from the body, elbow bends, fingers wiggle up. So right palm is facing away, left palm is touching your body. Soften the lower right elbow. Draw the upper arm or left elbow towards the back of the mat. Find that engagement through the lower rib cage. Lift out of the crown of your head. And we always say this in class, right? There's always one side that feels a little bit more challenging, one side that feels more accessible. I'm just trying to find a balance here between left and right. Take one more big full inhale here. And then release on your exhale, allowing the hands to come down beside the body, wiggle at the shoulders, roll them back, roll them forward. And then allow your hands to just come to rest on your legs gently, palms either towards the body or away from the body. Inhale, lift out of the crown of your head, and exhale, allow the chin to tuck towards your collarbone space. So typically feeling this in the upper back, upper shoulders, back of your neck. So move gently, move slowly, there's no rush. Keeping the chin tucked, the invitation to take the right ear towards the right shoulder. Inviting stretch through the left side neck. Can you allow that left shoulder to fall heavy? Create a little bit more space through the side of the neck. If you've allowed the right ear to come to right shoulder, use your inhale to draw everything back through center, and then lift the chin away from the collarbone space. Take a full breath here to reset. And then exhale, tuck the chin towards the collarbones and either choosing to stay here or allowing your left ear to fall towards your left shoulder, inviting stretch through the right side neck. So whenever we're working through the upper shoulders, through the neck space, I always like to think of the upper arm bones drawing in towards my spine. That simple cue often helps me keep the space in the neck. Just be mindful of how you're moving. If the ears come towards the shoulder, you can inhale, draw back through center. And then from there, lift the chin away from your collarbones, rock forward into your tabletop pose or arrive there however you need to. Taking wrists under shoulders, knees under head. Spreading the fingers generously wide in your tabletop pose. Untucking the toes if that feels okay. There's nothing wrong with keeping the toes tucked, but if we have the toes untucked, we can press energetically through the big toe mound space. Let's draw the belly in towards the spine so we have that nice flat back. Just for a moment, exploring that same sensation here in tabletop that we explored on our backs with the low belly supporting spine. Find the extension out of the crown of your head. Shoulders are drawing back towards your sitting bones. As you inhale, next tilt the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Allow the belly to soften and guide the shoulders towards the sitting bones for your cow pose. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone under, draw the navel in, allow the shoulders to fall heavily forward, chin towards your collarbone space for cat. Inhaling, soften into your cow. And then exhale, transition into your cat. Just floating with the breath here, finding some free movement. Taking the entire breath to transition between each pose. And coming back to your mat, back to your breath if your mind has wandered away. And then here from cat and cow, beginning to take some hip circles. So allowing the hips to fall left, back, right, forward. And maybe allowing this movement to become more generous or more deep as you move round and round. Hands stay anchored, knees stay anchored, tops of the feet stay anchored. Really trying to isolate this in through the hip space. It might feel nice to add in a cat or cow-like spine. If you've taken one direction, let's take those circles in the opposite direction. Again, either choosing to move with more of an isolated movement or allowing it to become more full by shifting weight forward, back, finding a cat-like spine, finding a cow-like spine, just finding some movement. And then from there, just releasing any control of the movement and just taking whatever comes. So however your body needs to move, move into that space now. Taking one more breath here, and whatever free movement looks like for you. And then using your next inhale to come back to your tabletop pose, core engaged, spine supported, extension out of the crown of your head. One hand at a time, or one elbow at a time rather. Let's invite it down to the mat, elbows underneath your shoulders, wrist in front of the elbows. Keep the hips stacked above your knees. Shoulders are drawing back. I'm either choosing to stay right here for puppy pose or finding further extension by walking one hand at a time towards the top of the mat. Maybe eventually your forehead comes down to meet the floor. Really anywhere between being on your elbows, any space between having the arms fully extended is a version of puppy pose. So once you make your upper body into the form that it needs to be, shift awareness now to the low back space. Draw the navel in towards the spine to support the low back. Breathing into the front side of your body and through the chest. Allow everything to soften down on your next exhale. And then from there, if the hands are extended, bend to the elbows, please press into your hands. Walk yourself back until your elbows are underneath your shoulders. And then from there, one hand at a time, press up onto the palms. Tuck the toes, invite the knees wide. And begin to shift your way back into your child's pose. Sitting bones press towards your heels. Front side of your body softens down towards your mat. Elbows can be bent or arms can be fully extended. Allow your forehead to come to rest onto something, a mat or a fist. And wherever it is that your body has found connection, can you shift awareness into that space? And allow that connection to become deeper. Can you think of that weight that we explored in opening Shavasana, but now the front side of your body drawing you down? So if it's your forehead that you have that connection, imagining it growing roots and drawing down. Whatever you don't need to hold on to here, it's an opportunity to let that go. Find that grounding effect. Pressing through the hands, all 10 fingers, use the inhale to lift the gaze forward. Begin to walk your hands over towards the left. Find that stretch where you begin to feel it through the right side body. Allow your right sitting bone to fall heavily back. And then the option of keeping your gaze lifted or allowing the head to fall down towards the mat. If you're feeling supported here, that left hand can sweep behind the body, palm fingers away, and you can reach for the right hip. Continuing to find or observe that sensation through the right side body, outside to the arm, down the rib cage, into your hip bone, and eventually into the sitting bone falling heavy towards your heel. If that left hand came over the body to the right hip, let's find that extension by lengthening it out beside the right. And then from there, all together, inhale to lift the gaze, walk the hands back through center, and all the way over to the opposite side. Option of keeping your gaze lifted or allowing the upper body to release to the mat. And then from there, the same option. This time, right hands can come across the body, palm faces away, and reach us for the outer left hip. So find your form, allow yourself to release. It might look different as everything does, left to right. Well, may have felt good on one side, may not feel the same on the opposite. Really just take your time to be present with sensation. If that right hand has come across the body, begin to lengthen it out once again. And then from there, pressing through both hands, inhale, lift the gaze forward, come back through center. Once you arrive there, you can lift the gaze forward, and then begin to shift weight and come back into a tabletop pose, tuck the toes, take the knees in towards one another, and then swing on to either hip. And then once you're there, we're gonna come so that the feet come to touch into a seated cobbler's pose. The knees are falling wide. The hands, just for a moment, can be on the shins, anywhere really, but directly on the knees is fine. We're gonna inhale, find that lift and extension out of the crown of our heads. And then exhale, drop the shoulders away from the earlobes. Inhale, find your chin level with the ground beneath. And then exhale, tuck the lower rib cage towards the hip bone. Noticing if you're clenching or grasping through the inner thighs here. And if so, can you soften, relax the inner thigh? Wherever your hands are, can you use your next inhale to draw a little bit of energy through the hands and press the heart forward? Draw the shoulder blades in towards the spine. And then as you exhale, can you press the heart forward, keep the length in your spine. And the hands can either stay here onto your legs if you prefer. You can walk the fingertips in front of your body. So you can stay up nice and tall, or you can find a fold variation. Either selection, focusing on inner thighs and length in the spine. And as we hold here for a handful of breaths, the sensations may change. So choosing if you need to move a little bit deeper into your pose, or if you'd like to come out a little bit. The inhale always finds the extension out of the crown of your head. The exhale is finding that energy drawing down, whatever variation you're in. You draw the shoulders back, get your heart open. If You've taken this fold variation. You can press through your hands. Begin to walk your hands back in towards the body, lengthen out through the spine. And then from there, draw the knees in towards one another. Allow the soles of your feet to come to meet your mat. Your hands can come behind your body. Spin the fingers away from the body, about 30 or 40 degrees. Energy equally in your left and right hand. Draw the upper arm bones in towards one another. And just allow the knees to rock side to side. You can allow the hips to lift away from the mat at this point. Thighs equally spinning towards the mat. Just releasing there one last time. When you come back through center next, lengthen out your legs. Begin to guide yourself all the way onto your backs, please. And then once you're on your back, you can inhale, invite the arms overhead, point the toes, arch the back, and find that full body stretch. Exhale, soften down to the mat, feet fall wide, elbows bend. Inhale, find that extension, top to bottom, big generous stretch. Exhale, soften down. One last time, finding a big stretch here from the toes all the way out through the fingertips. And then exhale, soften down to the mat, invite your arms around and draw your knees in towards your body. And allow the hands to come to the outside of the legs here. And then from there, allow the upper body to guide the knees wide and begin to rock gently side to side. So continuing to release through the inner thighs, through the backs of the legs and into your low spine. Just coming back through center, soles of the feet come to meet the mat. And then once they're there, allow the knees once again to fall wide, soles of your feet to come to touch, finding a reclined cobbler's pose. Your hands can be wherever comfortable at this point, either beside the body, maybe one hand onto the low belly, other onto the heart space. Wherever it is that you can begin to release, find that form. And just noticing the shoulders drawing down into the mat. Working down the spine, backs of the shoulders, or lower shoulders, I should say, where your spine releases away from the mat and where your sitting bones connect. Feeling the pinky edge of your feet, left and right, connected to the earth. Invite a deep inhale here through your nose. And exhale it with a release of a sigh through the lips. Inhaling, finding that fullness, full breath through the front of your body. And exhaling, finding weight through the back side of your body. And just allowing your breath now to organically flow in and out. So really trying to let go of any need to control it at this point. Perhaps allowing the head to gently rock here side to side. Using your next inhale, begin to guide your knees back towards one another. Soles of the feet for a moment, brace the mat. And then you lengthen one leg at a time towards the bottom corners of your yoga mat. Toes fall outward. Shoulders are soft, fingers are long. Making your way into Shavasana.
And just for a moment, once you find the form of Shavasana, just noticing the subtleties of your body. Just offering that same body scan that we did at the start of our practice. Just noticing your breath, your presence, your physical body. Exhaling, releasing any need here to control anything at all. Finding Shavasana together for the next few minutes. Beginning here to wiggle out through your hands and through your feet. Rocking your head slowly side to side. Allowing your knees to float in towards your upper body. And then once there, rocking onto your favorite side for a few rounds of breath. Eventually guiding yourself up into a comfortable seat. Allow your gaze to still stay nice and soft. Take that next inhale to bring the arms overhead. And then the exhale to softly draw your hands down to heart center. Namaste, everyone. Thank you all, everyone. Wish you a good week. Healthy week. Reach out if you need anything, please.